latest scientific evidence on breathwork improving stress levels and overall health. So I had the occasion to listen to a recent podcast by Professor Andrew Huberman, um, the professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology of Stanford University, where he interviewed the professor of neurobiology from University of California, uh, Dr. Jack Feldman, or Professor Jack Feldman, and he is considered a pioneer in breathwork research um, uh, in these times, right? So this is a 2025, November 2025 interview. So it's the latest at the time of making of this video. In this video, I want to discuss some of these amazing findings as further confirmation, for this amazing uh, practice. So if you like the contents of my video, please don't also forget to like and subscribe to my channel. This will greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And one extra optional favor, if you can just share it, with one other person and drop a comment, or even share it with your favorite social media, the channel. I would very highly appreciate that. But importantly, thank you to each and every one of you for the time you're spending, your precious time in listening to me. Thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Osman, the blind Muslim yogi, um, a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. Amazing offer currently. 10-minute anxiety fix for just $5, less than the price of a Starbucks coffee, delivered to you telepathically, instantly, anywhere globally, and pay only after you are satisfied. And this goes for all my treatment protocols. For contact information, please visit my website, yogawellness786.com. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. In that time, I had the amazing privilege to study under various masters from different schools of thought, from different cultures across the globe, from the Far East, the Middle East, the West, including the scientific community. And I put together and gleaned out the best of all the worlds and made a combination protocols that are more geared towards the 21st century, making things simpler, easier, faster, more time efficient, and results oriented. To that end, I now have students in over 100 countries, and my favorite protocol is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com. Please also remember my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So, coming to this interesting discussion by Dr. Jack Feldman of University of California, and he's considered a pioneer in research for breathwork related experiments and in the field of neurology and how it improves health and the mind and the brain functions and so forth. And everyone knows, or everyone is aware that breathwork is so amazing, and it's part of people's regular practice. Some interesting things came out as to which type of breathwork, how much it must do, and what exactly it does, right? Scientifically, without any doubt. So they carried out the experiments on mice because the mice cannot be influenced, uh, by emotions or imaginations or the placebo effect, right? So in humans, there is always a placebo effect that they expect that something is going to work, and then it starts to work without you even taking any medication or doing anything. So that rules out, because the mice can't have a placebo effect, right? So and they found innovative ways to get the mice to slow down the breathing, and using a control group as well. And they found that the mice that were put into reduced or slowed down breathing for just 30 minutes a day, within 4 weeks showed decreased fear response to a sudden, fear stimulus, right? So they had a very specialized person creating a fear stimulus. So the normal rats or the normal mice, showed a normal, fear response, but the ones that practiced just 30 minutes of slower breathing, slowing down the breathing of these mice just for 30 minutes a day, in 4 weeks was a significant reduction. So this, they went and did further experiments and found that these same mice were becoming healthier. They generally lived longer, generally, right, than the ones that did not do this practice. And they were less prone to illnesses and so forth. So immediately it brings, firm scientific proof that this is not something that has got any placebo effect, that people who just believe, breath work and they must be spiritual. Whether you believe or don't believe, you practice it, you're dedicated on a daily basis for, 30 minutes a day is a substantive, amount. You're going to, within a 4 week period, get a reduction in anxiety. And anxiety is one of the major problems in our current day society, right? And also improving your overall health markers, improving your longevity, improve reducing your risk to ailments, significantly, and overall improvement of the quality of your health overall, as well as your psychology, right? So, the interesting thing is they found that the 30-minute rule, doing 30 minutes a day is the amount that was used in the study. And because people wonder how much should you practice, right? So a lot of people, they practicing mindfulness meditation and so forth. This also, because you're focusing on your breath, has the effect of slowing your breathing down, because as you become calmer, you like gradually slowing your breathing down, and you just sit there, for 20 to 30 minutes, right, on a daily basis. So they found 20 minutes a day in mindfulness meditation to be, sufficient. So you don't, if sometimes, that 10 minutes extra makes a massive difference. Sometimes in life we are so busy, we don't even have 5 minutes. I'm extremely busy. I don't have enough time in the day, and I need to do so many things, but I prioritize and I focus on the most important things at hand, and I'm unable to do everything, because it's impossible. I don't have enough time. Even if I stretch the day to 72 hours, I'm not going to finish, my day's work. So looking at how busy the work is, to give you an indication how busy, life is in these days, my 11-year-old daughter does not have 5 minutes. I tell her, please do some form of exercise, because she used to love doing gymnastics, right? And exercising, daily gymnastics, not into yoga and all that. And she's young, and I mean, I don't force anything on anyone, and I love people to do what they love, right, and encourage, a healthy, active lifestyle. And before that, she used to love dancing, right? Oh, she loves dancing, crazy about dancing from as before she could even walk. She used to rock to music, and always she's got that rhythm in her, and she don't have time for dancing anymore even, and she don't have time, for 5 minutes, even for the exercise anymore. She's starting school at 8:15, and she finishes, because she goes for evening classes. She only gets a short break in the evening. She gets home, they finish school at 6 p.m. She gets home at 6 p.m., right? And she's 11 years old, and they get a lunch break, right? A long lunch break. where they can have like a good rest, and they come home to have lunch and go back, like a 2 hour break, during lunch. But basically, I mean, she's leaving home by 7:45, and she's getting when she comes home in the evening after dinner, she has to she just has about an hour and a half break. 7:30 she's off again, and coming home 10 p.m., right? So very tired, exhausted, and I mean, she still is a child, right? 11 years old, and preparing. I mean, not something all the time. It's just that they're preparing for exams, and it's been going on for several weeks now. But life is very busy. And what about adults? I mean, you have social media, you have AI, you have to learn so many applications, and things are moving so fast. Technology is upgrading so fast. Even the latest phone, it's like it's got. I mean, my phone, when I got my phone this year, it no longer works with buttons, it all works with gestures, right? So I had a friend pick it up for me, and before he brought it to me, he tried to switch it on, and he thought there was a fault with it. He took it back to the shop, and they said, no, it works like this with the swiping and so forth. And there's no button. I mean, there's a power button on the side and volume up, volume down, right? That's it. But to select apps and navigate and so forth, all with swipes, gestures, taps, double tap, triple tap, single finger swipe, swipe up from the middle, swipe from the side, short swipe up from the middle up, quick, swipe down, swipe with two fingers, swipe with three fingers, tap behind the phone. There's so many gestures to do so many things, and you have to learn. You have to be up to date with everything. And running a business, you have to use the latest strategies and be up to date. You have to be. I have to listen to podcasts every time. I mean, this video itself is created from my regularly listening and updating myself in the in general health and wellness. And I follow Professor Andrew Huberman very carefully. I find he's giving an all-round, uh, you know, um, um, all-round information, especially with regard to the brain, the mind, neurology, and overall health. And the latest topics. And I think he's very impressive. Instead of listening to thousands and thousands, also listening to various other, social media podcasts and so forth. So I'm not, of course, not getting paid to mention all this. I'm just mentioning it to you because this is an important part of your life. To prioritize, a formal way to constantly educate yourself. Especially when it comes to your health, right? And follow scientific instead of just listening to random people on YouTube. You don't know what their qualifications are and so forth, right? So I'm listening to someone from an Ivy League university professor, as well as he's interviewing other professors, PhD levels, and from the scientific perspective and scientific community, because I'm in the spirituality field. And I always believe to create the foundation should be science based always, not to go. If there is things that are not yet found by science, find a way how we can find a middle ground, or find a way how we could understand it from a scientific perspective, and not to delve into things that are not yet confirmed by science, because some things could be dangerous, especially when it comes to breath work, right? Because we're discussing breath work. Some people are holding their breath for too long, and depriving the brain of oxygen, which is dangerous. You are killing brain cells, and you could even it can even cause permanent, major permanent damage, that will be irreversible. So you have to be very careful and follow sign, because in the breathwork practice that I teach, the advanced, because I'm an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, there are levels where I used to practice holding my breath like 21 rounds, for a count of 300, right? Then I stopped that practice because it's something my students will want to duplicate. So I only practice now maximum holding my breath for 64, a count of 64, which is equivalent to about 40 seconds, maximum for 21 rounds, right? In a cycle. So we're doing what's commonly in modern science is called box breathing, right? So if you don't know what's box breathing, like breathe in through the left nostril, hold your breath, breathe out through the right nostril, hold your breath, then breathe in again through the right nostril, hold your breath, breathe out through the left nostril. So it's like you're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Like in a box fashion. So when you reach the same nostril again, it's considered one round. So I normally do 21 rounds of that with a count of 16, 64, 32. Breathe in for 16, hold for 64, breathe out for 32. Breathe in 16, hold for 64, breathe out for 32. And I do 21 rounds of that minimum, right? So I'd like to do 126 rounds a day. I just don't have time. When I had time, before becoming so busy, um, I'm very rarely having time. COVID was an amazing period. I had so much of time to do, a lot of practice and practice. The biggest, what was my biggest practice during COVID? I had the first time in decades, because from the age of 10, I'm sleeping an average of 4 hours a day, which is very dangerous, right? Don't do that. I learned later through science. I didn't know at the time. I was ignorant because I'm from the yoga and meditation field and the spirituality field. And there we learned that if you're doing meditation and yoga, 3, 4 hours is sufficient sleep. You shouldn't sleep more than 3 to 4 hours, right? In what we learned in yoga. But through my later adult life, right, coming closer to my middle age, in my 40s, epidemiological research on the telomeres proves scientifically and conclusively, no matter yoga or no yoga, breathwork, no breathwork, advanced level, no advanced level, enlightened or not enlightened, 7 to 9 hours you need minimum sleep, or you're going to definitely get the brunt of chronic ailments and problems, right? So a typical example, which I mean, I have no right to mention it, but it's a public information. It's not a private information. Everyone's aware of it. It's a public figure like Sadhguru is considered to be an enlightened person, and he used to average 2 to 3 hours sleep, but he said now recently he's sleeping a little bit more because of all his travels and not getting the right foods when he travels, like 4 to 4.5 hours, right? 4.5 hours, but that's still not 7 to 9 hours. So he's already, I believe, already had three brain surgeries. He's got a problem, in the brain. So, and he's still, I believe, relatively young, because life expectancy these days, for people who's average humans who are interested in wellness, even not interested, the average life is around 80 years, right? This is the average. But people who's interested in wellness and doing breath work and yoga and so on, expected to be centenarians, right? That's the expectation. Not across the board, but expectation is there, for majority of people. So he is in his 60s, right, which is still very young, relative to average and relative to someone who's enlightened and a practitioner, of meditation and advanced level. I mean, enlightened, right? You don't get more than that in the yoga and meditation field. It's the goal of yoga and meditation. But the weakness, and he eats well. He eats his frequency now currently is 1 meal a day. It used to be 2 meals a day, which is also healthy, not to eat too many meals, right? From a health perspective, but not enough sleep. So this is not a lecture on sleep, but on marrying science to what you're practicing. So I'm translating this to breath work and my own practice. Even me, I stopped doing the higher levels. I just want to see how far I can go, and I could keep going, right? Then I said, no, as a practice, I'm advanced or whatever it is, I will not do more than 16, 64, 32. So when I was doing 300, I was doing 75, 300, 150, 75, 300, 150, right? And one of my friends even recorded it. He didn't send me the video, but he's got the video. Where I was doing it. He recorded it on video. Me doing it as well. And I stopped doing it, and I no longer do it. I don't think I can do it, off the cuff right now, because I'm not practicing that, and I reduced my practice to 16, 64, 32. And you don't need more than that for the benefit, because the breath work is not about how long you can hold your breath. It's just regulating your breath and slowing down to bring about a certain result in overall health improvement, but also this is mainly graduating it up. And also 16, 64, 32, you can't just do it on your own. You have to start with 4, 16, 8, 4, 16, 8, what I say, right? And then second level go to um, um, 8, 32, 16, 8, 32, 16. Third level go 12, 48, 24, 12, 48, 24. And then fourth level 16, 64, 32, 16, 64, 32. And when you start 4, 16, 8, start with just 3 rounds and then slowly build it to 21 rounds. Otherwise, you'll suffocate, you won't do it. And then it becomes easier and easier as you practice because the body adjusts and adapts. It balances the carbon dioxide levels, in your bloodstream, which brings about greater efficiency in the pH level and the greater efficiency of all the cells' overall functionality and overall efficiency in your need for more and more oxygen. It reduces and become more and more efficient, which creates a dramatic improvement in also the brain. The brain is very sensitive, to oxygen and carbohydrate, especially carbon dioxide levels, according to Dr. Jack Feldman, in his study. So this was something very interesting, and he himself was asked. Professor Andrew Huberman asked Professor Jack Feldman what practice he personally practiced in breathwork. He said, no, he does the box breathing. So it's the first time I heard someone use the term box breathing. But since he's foremost in this, in this field, so I have to take on the latest information. So even me, I try. Why I brought it down is because scientifically, if you starve your brain for more than 3 minutes of oxygen, it is a fatality point. It can be fatal. People can die. You can kill people, by suffocating them, or for oxygen for just 3 minutes. Not every person, but a lot of people, it's possible that they could die, at that point. So I didn't want to come to the, at 300, when we count, is equivalent to about 3 minutes, right? Because 100 count of 100 in yogic counting is equivalent to about 60 seconds, about a minute. So 300 is like 3 minutes. And I said, if I'm going to go, this is the danger point that I'm reaching, and this is not healthy. Don't go above that. But we learn in yoga sciences there are people that are counting up to 1,000, right? Or they can count even thousands and they're holding their breath, for long periods of time, hours and so forth. And they're even going and immersing themselves underwater to prove to other people, how long. These are the very dangerous things. The wrong people are going to see it and try it. And you must know there are children watching these things. They don't understand, seriousness, and everything is a game. They might even hold, children are bullies and they do not understanding that the human life is so fragile, and they may just bully a child and hold him, not knowing that you can't hold someone down for long periods. Even 3 minutes is the fatal point. Person can die, and it can cause death. So it should not even be. Even if you could do it, don't do it in secret. Don't mention it, don't practice it in public, don't talk about it, don't show it, because it's extremely dangerous. So marry science with everything that you do. So even me, I temper. This is bringing a balance between spirituality and science, right? Spirituality says a lot of things, right? But we don't do that. They say go live in a cave. I mean, you are freezing. There's hardly any food. They encourage. They speak of people that didn't have food for many days and starving, and you're gonna kill yourself this way. We don't do things like that anymore in the spirituality field. We always marry. That's why I say do things as science as a foundation. That's why I made this video when I found the scientific evidence that will bring the elements of science to it. And also there are a few people who's regular in this practice, but to encourage others who are not and to benefit from it. It's such an amazing tool that can bring significant change that now scientifically confirmed by a leader in this field from the scientific community from the University of California, Dr. Jack Feldman. You can look him up and maybe try to connect with him through social media or through the university or whatever it is, I'm sure it welcome, inquiries and so forth, and or maybe, it doesn't receive so much of, fame, because this is not a field that people are very famous in, right? So even myself, I'm a world-renowned energy healer, specializing in, terminal illnesses and critical care recovery. My success rate is very high, but I'm not very busy, right? And it's not a field that is very popular, right? So hope that information helps you and encourages you to keep to your practice, and to understand how much of time is proven scientifically. You don't have to do 30 minutes. Do what you can, right? But to know that this brings about substantive results for those who want, of course, all these results is not a replacement for medical treatment, right? Don't use these methods to avoid taking your medications and so forth. Always consult with your doctor and take the prescribed medications as recommended. You don't stop your medication. Let the doctor stop your medications when he feels it's safe to do so. Hope that information helps you. Take care of yourself always.